Hey guys, Thatnub here. Since the COVID-19 has entered our world, I have gotten a lot of new subscribers, a lot of new preppers, and a lot of people asking me questions about gardening and how to survive the end of the world, which, as far as apocalypses go, this one sucks. But I've decided to kind of show you what's going on since it's spring now, answer a few of the basic questions that I've had come through, and dedicate more of the videos to actual preparedness. Since we're probably not going to Paul's house this year, I don't know, I might sneak out there by myself, but I don't know if he's going to be doing any tours. So let's start off with a basic question about how do I get my soil, my dirt, my whatever, to turn into good soil. This here is what I started with. We have 2.5 acres here, and it is all sand. Everywhere you go, sand. I did it by adding wood chips. So you saw before I had sand. Here is where I put probably 2 feet of wood chips. In fact, you can see some of the pile right here that I had dug into. And I just laid it on top of the sand. This is known as the Back to Eden gardening method. And basically you mimic the forest floor. Who waters the forest? Nobody. Who fertilizes the forest? Nobody. Who weeds the forest? Who plants in the forest? Who anything's in the forest? It's all done by nature. What happens is there's trees out there, the needles, twigs, leaves, branches fall to the ground, start decomposing, and then it turns the soil of the forest floor into really good compost. This is about 3, maybe 4 years old. Now I have not added any kind of soil amendments to this, but you can see how this is all breaking down really nicely. The only thing I had to do was to add some water, because I live out in the desert of eastern Washington and we don't get a lot of rain out here in the desert. Look at this. So the more water it got, the quicker it decomposed. And this is just compost now. Anything can grow on that. So that is question number 1 for those new gardeners / preppers out there that want to know how to garden. Turn your garden into the forest floor. Let's look at some of these trees while I'm standing here. This one here is probably, I think, one of the first year trees that we had. This was a combination pear we got from Costco. Most of our trees came from Costco, really, because they do the grafting there. And this one I thought wasn't really going to make it, but look at all the buds on it now. All the little flowers. This one over here, we had a bad frost last year and all of the buds died off, so we really didn't get anything. But now everything is starting to grow all on its own. Here's another Costco tree that we planted, I think this one last year. This is a combination apple. All the fruit we're going to get off of that. I don't remember. The wife knows what it is. It's one of her favorites. It's, yeah, I don't know. We'll ask her someday. This is a combination pear tree. So with just planting it, putting wood chips around, letting those decompose, adding some water, we get fruit trees that grow all on their own. These two we just planted last year in the fall, and they made it through the winter. These, I think, are just, apple trees, gala apple. We're getting some flowers on here. This one over here is another gala. We also planted this year this cherry tree here, that cherry tree there, and those are, no, this cherry tree and that cherry tree. Yes, we just planted those this year and kind of moving this out some. So this never got any water before. Don't know if those two are going to make it this year, but fingers crossed. We got a sprinkler out here for them, so they might do fine. This one here, we just planted this year. This is a combination. This is a combination cherry. So we have 3 cherry trees right here. That doesn't seem right. Yeah, we have 3 cherries out here. Huh. So this here is what your wood chips will look like when they get no water at all. And this is all just kind of hard. You're getting some mycelium growing. This is wet here just because the sprinklers have been hitting it now. But you see how dry all this is? So you're gonna have to have some moisture. If you live in an area like me where it doesn't come naturally, you're gonna have to add it yourself, or it's gonna take a really long time to decompose. Let's see what else we have. Oh, okay, so another question that I've been getting is, how do I know what to grow in my area? I don't know where you live. It's all done by zones and that kind of stuff. But one of the great things that I found is a website. And this website is for those who want to go out and just kind of forage in their neighborhoods and stuff. It's called fallingfruit.org. And I will do a video about that at a later time. But go on there, zoom into your locale, and it's a website where anybody can add any kind of edible tree or bush or grass or whatever. And as long as it's, I think, on public land, I think is a requirement. But you can zoom in there and look at all the things that are naturally growing in your area. And then from there, just pick something in that, plant it in your yard. This apple tree here got attacked by rabbits during that big snow we had. Well, not this February, so a year ago, February. And they ate up, I might find a clip for it and put it in here. They ate all the bark off this tree. And the snow came up to like here. So you can see here where some of this was eaten away, but it's healing up pretty okay. And somehow, I still had a ring around it, so, or a way for the nutrients and stuff to get up. And look now, this thing is going to be full of apples this year. This is one of the very first apple trees we planted. And the first year, did okay, I guess, 1 branch. Second year, just nothing at all. We had that frost. Last year, the bunnies ate it to death. And now, this whole thing is just sprouting out. This is going to be full of apples weighing down. And this is a grafted, so we have like 2 or 3 or 4 different kinds of apples in there. What else do we have? Questions. Container gardening. How do I container garden? I don't know. I don't do that. I do this because it's easy. And I have the land for it. But there are some things that we do grow in containers. Comfrey. See all the old comfrey here. But this will grow about three cycles a year for us. So comfrey is a good container type of food and medicine. Here, mint. Mint is another one that likes to spread, so you have to put it in containers or you'll never catch it. We always put tomatoes in this one, and we'll probably do that again this year. As we come out to the backyard here, I have a tip or trick, hint, something like that for all of you new preppers, homesteaders, gardeners, anything like that. Plant 5 perennials every year. Perennials are plants, trees, bushes, vegetables that will regrow every year, like the comfrey, apple trees, blueberry bushes, something like that. In 5 years of planting 5 every year, you will have 25 plants that will feed you for the rest of your life. If you plant 5 every year for 10 years, you will have 50 plants that will feed you for the rest of your life. Okay, so we're back here. Some of the trees that were back here didn't make it because I only had 1 sprinkler going, and that wasn't enough. And in fact, just for the distance, I need at least 3 out here. So this here is a willow that I'm pretty sure didn't make it, because this here is a willow that we planted at the same time, same kind, and it is starting to do okay. Getting a little bit of growth on it. I need the willows here to block the back of the house, keep the wind off of the house in the winter. I don't know if that's really going to work so well, but in the summertime it'll be nice. We planted, here's another willow that didn't make it, but that's like 2 years old. Here we planted another fruit tree. This is a peach, and I don't know if it's going to make it through the cold weather that we just kind of had. Got down into the teens recently, and I don't know, we'll see. Give it all the time it needs. Here is a blackberry that went through the cold as well, but it may make it. Again, none of this here is really, this is all sand. You see right there. So all this is sand. So this is first year wood chips all around all these. So they may or may not make it. We'll see though. That's the great thing about getting your trees at Costco, is if they don't make it, this is a peach, if they don't make it, you can just pull them out, take them back to Costco, give them your card, they'll be like, yep, here's your refund, and you just go buy more. There's a blueberry that may or may not make it. Well, these two, the blackberry and the blueberry, weren't that big to start out. Here's a combination apple, all the way in the back. Here's a bigger blueberry that we just planted this week. So we'll see what happens there. Another question, drip irrigation. Can I do that instead of watering with a sprinkler or something like that? I wouldn't recommend it. Roots like to spread out, and the drip only goes right in that spot. We had arborvitae trees planted from down here all the way down to the end of the property, way out yonder, way out there. And we did drip irrigation, and they didn't make it. The lines would get moved and the drip would move over a little bit, or at the very end, maybe not enough pressure, but it never really had a chance to get all of the roots that were spread out. So this year, we got about 20 arborvitae trees planted along this little strip. We have that sprinkler there, this one here, and hopefully these ones are going to make it. I believe they've been getting enough water. Let's look down here. Oh yeah, look at that. That's nice and moist. So they've been getting the water they need. Hopefully they're going to take this year and give us another wind block from all the wind that's blowing down here, and you guys are probably hearing in the video. So drip irrigation, not a fan of it. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 new food producing trees back here alone this year. Yeah, and a willow. Back up here in the front again, we have raspberries, which aren't perennial, but they spread and regrow, so I consider them perennials. Same with the strawberries. They've been here forever. So those two things that you can plant that'll always grow. Here we have, I want to say this is a goji berry that we have pretty much tried to kill because it's in the wrong spot, but it just grows. Sunflowers. Look at all these old sunflowers plants. But sure enough, new ones are going to start popping up here that I'm going to have to remove because they're in the wrong spot. The sunflowers are another one that you can plant and will be coming back forever and ever and ever. Potatoes are another one. You ever heard of volunteer potatoes? They just kind of reseed themselves. And if you leave them alone long enough, they will do that for you. This gooseberry here is so thorny. I didn't know that these were that thorny. But it's trying to just, I'm going to have to trellis this or something. I thought it was more of a bushy bush instead of that. And here is a currant. This is one of the first things we planted out here too, and it just will not die. And I think this year we might get some nummies from it. More strawberries in here. This is garlic that we planted maybe in the spring of last year and just forgot about it, and it's back. So that kind of stuff is what you want to plant. This is the very first area that we did back to Eden. This is where the first truck dropped wood chips for us. And look at this. I mean, this is just pure soil now. What else do we have? Onions. I don't know when we planted these onions, a year or two ago. And they just keep coming back. Carrots. These carrots here, I got a handful of carrot seeds and just threw it on top of the ground just to see. Paul told me, or showed me one time where he did that, and a couple months later went back and carrots everywhere. And I did that last year, and carrots. Thyme is another one that will stay forever if it doesn't get buried by your grass. But right in here is thyme. And I'm going to start pulling some of this grass away and let it flourish again. I know it wants to. It's been there for a few years. Another question. Oh, we had this windstorm. Check this tree here out. It's all down now. And this is a tree that 2 years ago maybe, we noticed this tree growing. This tree's been dead since we got here, but we noticed this tree sprouting up through the center of this big old tree. And we had a windstorm, probably looking at a video of it right now, where that fell, and we realized that this tree was pretty big inside there. Look at how thick these thorns are on it. So that's the new tree that's going to be there. Okay, so that's all I have right now. We just turned the sprinklers on, and we're getting some flowers over there. We just turned the sprinklers on this week, so the grass is going to start getting better, which means I'm going to have to start mowing it, taking care of the plants and whatnot. And probably going to be doing more prepper type videos because that's what people are asking me about. How do I What do I buy? What should I store for food? How do I store food? How do I grow food? How do I start a fire? Just weird questions that I've known the answer to for a while, but I just never really talked to you guys about. So being a prepper channel, I got sidetracked into gardening. We're still going to do gardening, but we're going to do more preparedness type stuff. So if you guys have any questions or ideas or thoughts, put them in the comments below. If I can get to polls this year, I will do that, and I will put that video up. If I cannot get to polls this year, I have a few saved up from before that I just have to put together and edit and whatnot. Right over here by the pump house is, we'll try to sneak up on it. There's a little bunny there. See this little bunny? I can't see you in that reflection here. Let's look. You guys see the little bunny there behind the bike? There's a bunny there. And I think it had babies right there because it's kind of guarding this spot. See little bunny ears there? So I think that there's bunnies, little cottontails, near my pump house, maybe under it. You know, bunnies like to bury their babies, so it's probably sitting underneath there. Oh, let's see, here's a good shot. If I can get in there. Little bunny. So we'll keep you up to date with little bunny too. Well, that's all I have for this video. Bang around that bell icon if you want to be notified when new videos come out. Call us on the hotline if you have comments or questions and want to be featured in an upcoming video. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe. Check us out on the website, and we'll see you guys on the next one.